talking a little bit about the judging the conformation of a horse, and I will just say if you have some questions or if you have some points you really want to know, please ask, don't wait, because it's under saddle. So when the horses come in tomorrow, you first show them in front of the commission when they are standing. So that's the first impression the judges have of your horse. And that's of course a very important point, because the first impression will never go away. So the horse, when it's just standing, makes the first decision about any scores, if you are at a higher level or at a lower level or something like that. You look, of course, for the head. We also want to have a beautiful head, especially at a horse show, at a breed show. A lot of riders say you don't ride on the head. That's totally correct. Anyway, if we are talking about brood horses, we want to have a nice head, of course, with a really good expression, because we needn't discuss about it. A beautiful horse is always better to sell later on than other horses. And we want our horses to look quite well, because our breeding is well known for breeding modern horses, and therefore also a nice head is very important. We want to have big eyes, nice eyes, and we want to have, as I told, a nice expression of the head. The neck shouldn't be too long and it shouldn't be too short, both because of the aspects of riding later on. A long neck is very easy to hold in contact, because the danger is that the horse becomes too deep, is too light in the hand at the end. A short neck is exactly the different thing. It's often difficult to get the horses through the poll, to get them bended, to get the flexion you need later on. So both has only to do with the aspects of riding. We want the poll to be light enough so that it's easy for the rider to get them through the poll. And if you look at the modern horses today, most of them are quite well in that point. When you compare them with pictures from earlier times, the necks looked much different as they do now. We want to have a big shoulder, a long shoulder, which is not too straight. The reason herefore is also very easy. We want the saddle to sit on a good position, not too much in front, because if the saddle is sitting very much on the front of the horse, on the shoulder, the horse seems always to be long behind, and that's of course something we don't want to have. The saddle should stay like in the middle of the horse, so that you have the possibility. The horse seems to be uphill, the neck is really in front of the rider, and the rider is not sitting exactly behind the ears. The back also shouldn't be too short and not too long. If a back is very short, the horses have often problems to be loose enough in the back, to swing enough in the back, and they have sometimes difficulties to bend themselves if you think about riding half passes or something like that. If the back is too long, the horses are mostly loose, but the danger is that they are perhaps a little bit too weak in that case, and that they are not strong enough to carry themselves on their hind legs at the end. The croup should also be quite long and not too straight, especially not flat, because in that case it's always very difficult for the horses to carry themselves on the hind legs, to really stay with the hind legs under their body like we want a really good riding horse to do. The next thing is that of course the judges look for the correctness of the feet. That's can only be done when the horse is standing in front of them, of course. When they are moving, it's much too fast and you don't have the time to do it. They shouldn't be too straight in the joints, and they shouldn't also not be too weak. If the horses are too weak, they might have a nice swinging, but it might be not good for the soundness later on, because it's not good for the, was heißt denn Sehne? Tendons? Okay. If they are too straight, it might not be good for the bones, of course, because there's no possibility to swing at all. yeah, the next point is that's the first impression when the horse stands. The next point is that you go one round in trot. That means you start away from the judges in trot, a little bit wide from behind. If the front leg go to the outside, if the horse is going really straight with his leg, those things, then it comes from the side. If you go around the corner, there we look for the way the horse is trotting. If it's uphill, if there's enough mechanic, we want the horses to show a little bit of mechanic to go uphill in trot, of course. If the hind legs stay under the body or if they are wide behind. If the horse is swinging enough, if it really goes through the body, then it turns again around. We have the same from the front, so we have the correctness again. And then normally the horse is shown from the other side. At the end, as we have already seen this morning, we prefer to have the horses on a final ring. And that's a very important point a lot of people don't think about, because mostly the spectators standing around, they are talking, meanwhile we are discussing what to do. And at the end, that's the most important point, because at that point we decide whether, for example, a foal gets a premium or is selected for the auction, if a stallion will get licensed, or as we did this morning, if a mare gets a Verbands premium or state premium or no premium. And that's a very nice thing. If you look tomorrow carefully, you will see that if you have all horses going one after the other in walk, the first thing, of course, is that it's easy to judge the walk there, because the horses calm down. They are not nervous anymore. They have a little bit of time to find the rhythm in walk. And you have also the possibility to compare all those horses. That's very important with the foals, because, of course, the development of the foals is very important. They have different ages. There are younger ones and older ones, of course. But you know when they are born, and so you can look if the size is okay, for example, if the condition of the horse is good. And you will see at the end that some horses really change when they come back for the final ring. When you had them in before, perhaps you had a really good impression, and when they come back and go just in walk with a long neck, with hanging ears perhaps, and not be shown with a whip or somebody running behind them, they really look different. And you have other horses which might show not that perfect on the ring, and they come in and you say, oh, what a beautiful horse, have I seen that already before? That's really amazing how horses can change when they go in walk on the ring, really loose and relaxed. And that's why this is really an important point. And perhaps tomorrow look a little bit about it, because that's at the end the point where we select the horses. Another important point is the way of presentation. That starts with the preparing of the horse, the condition of the horse. If the coat is shining, if the horse is nicely prepared, has good muscles, if the food was good before. So you really have to manage the horse a little bit before bringing it to a show. Of course, we try, as a judge, we try not to give the scores after this. We really try to judge the horse. A professional presentation will always give a better chance, for example, to win at the end, as itself. But